Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here again and to have been involved in yesterday. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. But Roy Oswald, who is a ministry consultant through Duke University, retired now, said there's nothing more potent than a group of people who hold a vision in common. Nothing more potent than a group of people who hold a vision in common. And what we know is that visions peak, and it's time to start new ones. And so David contacted me and invited me to come to support you all in the creation of a new vision and mission. Something that would invite you into a next level of consciousness, a next level of awareness. Because when we hold a clear vision and a clear mission, when we are on purpose, when we are intentional, the energy field knows it and responds back to it. We become an attractor for the field to bring to us the highest level of possibility available that we are in alignment with. I personally call this activity of that movement of energy synchro-divinity. Synchro-divinity, when you are so aligned with the universe, so intentional, so on purpose, that universal impulse, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, cannot help but draw back to you that which you are so aligned with because you're clear. Because you're clear. And so, for me, this is about living our energy consciously. I want to introduce the team that supported this. They're kind of the critical mass for this community, as they are the ones that showed up to be a part of this. So if you were there yesterday, would you stand up and let us just give you a hand? Stand up, wave your hands. Thank you. Thank you. And it was quite a journey yesterday. Because, it used to be that boards would go into a room, they'd work for months on a vision mission, they'd bring it out, they'd hand it to the people, and they say, here's your vision and mission, do you like it? And what we started to find through research is that if you take a grassroots effort, and you take a critical mass of the grassroots, and you invite them into the creation of the vision and mission, you get a very powerful energy that begins to permeate the consciousness of the collective. And that becomes very important. And so yesterday, I like to believe what I call, we danced at the edge of mystery. We came in and we didn't know what was going to happen, but I, as the facilitator of the energy, knew something was going to happen and held that space for that to happen. Because what I knew was, as we were dancing at the edge of mystery, the community was at a choice point moment. A choice point moment. And they're very important moments in our life because they determine how we're going to take the next step. Do you remember in the Indiana Jones movie when there was a band of marauders that were after him? He was in a cave and he was running ahead of them and he came to an abyss. Yes, that moment, he came to the abyss. And did he get all upset? Did he go, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I going to do now? Look what's happening to me. No. Interestingly, he bent down. He bent down. What was he doing energetically in that moment? He was going into a posture of surrender and willingness. Surrender and willingness in the moment. And he picked up some sand, and perhaps he knew why, perhaps he didn't. Perhaps he was being guided by the universal impulse, by God, by Spirit. That's what I like to believe. And he threw the sand out over the abyss. And steps arose. And he took that step out on faith. And then he threw more sand, and he took another step out on faith. And that's what we did yesterday until he was on the other side. And that's what we did, step by step, throwing out a little more sand, throwing out a little more sand, because that's what life's about. It's about that movement of energy that keeps moving us forward, even when we can't see. The master teacher said, "Behold, the fields are ripe for harvest." You may not see what the harvest is going to look like, but your job is to know, behold, the fields are ripe for harvest. And at the end of the day, as we live our life with that intentionality of knowing that something good is coming, that Spirit is going before us to prepare our path and to open the way to possibilities, then possibility occurs. So I would like to ask you a question. And the question is, why are you here this morning? Why are you here? Not what brought you here, your car, but why are you here? I would venture to say that at some point in your life, you looked around and something arose and you said, inside, I want more. I want more. You either opened a book or somebody invited you to come to this ministry or even perhaps another New Thought ministry. But you knew you wanted something more. We all are here because we were called to dream bigger. I entered Unity Village Chapel back in April of 1974 because my neighbor asked me to go to church with her. And I was so desperate for a friend that I said yes. I didn't even know where she was taking me. She might take me to the Pentecostal church. I don't know. But I walked in and Sig Paulson was speaking and I started crying and I knew I was home and I didn't even know what that meant. And then later, years later, I found a quote by Charles Fillmore and he says, "The moment that we get the sense that we are home is the first moment that we tap the essence of the I am. That we start that journey into unfolding the essence of who we are." So we're not here by accident. We're here because at some point our soul invited us into something bigger, into a bigger vision of who we are, of who we can be. And we said yes to that vision, not knowing what it meant at that moment. So the Bible, Charles Fillmore says, is the story of our soul evolution. It's the story of our soul evolution. And in Proverbs, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. That's from the King James Version. But interestingly, in the New Standard Version, it says, where there is no vision, the people go into resistance. Wow. When I heard that, I thought, isn't that how life is? When we don't have a vision of who we are as the mighty I am, when we don't have a vision of what we want to do next, we start to go into resistance. And that resistance shows up in all kinds of ways because everything's energy. So resistant energy can be in playing small. It can be in poor me. It can be in, I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do anything. But when we have a vision, we begin to take those steps forward. And it's vision that fuels our progress. We must remember that. And that's why it was important for this ministry to move forward in their vision. The master teacher, Jesus, had a grand vision. It was a simple vision because visions are simple. His vision was the kingdom of heaven is within everyone. The kingdom of heaven is within. And what is that kingdom of heaven? It is that field, that energy field of all possibility that we can tap into as we align with the power and the presence of what in my language we call the I am. And as we align with the power that we are, the field opens up to support us in so many ways. So he had a mission. He had a vision, and then he also had a mission. Interestingly, he found his mission in the temple. When he went to the temple and he opened the Torah, and he was taken to Isaiah. And Isaiah said, "As I am ordained by Spirit, I heal the sick, I raise the dead, I bring sight to the blind, I release the captives. As I am ordained by Spirit." What does it mean to be ordained by Spirit? It means that you have awakened to your I am power, that it is quickened, living, alive within you. And as you do this and as you grow this, you become a healing, energetic force in the universe. Robin has her beautiful music. Trish and David do ministry. Martha has her wonderful music. There's all ways that we are all called to heal the sick and raise the dead, not only in the outer, but to do it in the inner. How many of us have those parts of us that really need healing? Yes. And what about raising the dead inside? That's a powerful trip. So Jesus left a legacy, and now we're going to look at the legacy that you all created yesterday. The vision that came forth. And is there a slide? Is it up? Okay. The vision. A spiritually awakened world living oneness. Unity Spiritual Center of Denver holds as its vision a spiritually awakened world living oneness. Because a vision is so big, you can't live into it. Only God can live into it through you, guiding you. And so we looked at what's the biggest wish or dream vision that Unity of Denver can hold for the world. And what we came up with is we can hold a spiritually awakened world living oneness. Now, I want to metaphysically, through the words of Charles Fillmore and myself, Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, metaphysically and mystically describe to you each word of this vision statement so you can see, not from the 3D what we did, but from a fourth dimension and higher reality, the metaphysical, mystical reality of what was really happening in consciousness. Spiritually. Spiritually means aligned with spirit, the moving expression through the universe, moving as God, the force of God moving through the universe. When you're spiritually in tune, when you're spiritually awakened, you have movement of God, of spirit, as a living expression moving through you. That's different than just being awakened. And awakened means conscious of one's divinity. So you have a moving force of God expressing through you because you are conscious of your divinity. You are conscious of the power of the I am that lives within you. And where is it moving? We see it in the world. And what is the world? The world is the universe. It's all sentient beings. It's rocks and trees and hills and mountains. It's animals. It's you. It's me. We see a spiritually awakened world living. Do you see people who aren't living life? They just exist in life. That's not what we're meant to be. We are meant to live, to be the living expression of God moving in the universe. We are meant to be that activity of spirit in motion. We are not meant to play small. We are meant to play large because that's how big spirit is. It's so big. And what are we living? We're living oneness. We're living oneness with a capital O. And what is oneness? It means in one accord. Remember when Jesus left to ascend? He said to the disciples and the people that were following him, Go to the upper room. Go to spirit. Stay there until you are all in one accord, until you are all so vibrationally aligned with each other in this field of energy called Christ consciousness. Then the Holy Spirit will descend upon you, and you will be ordained by Spirit to go forth and teach and preach these principles. Whew, that's a powerful, powerful statement of what you say you are about in this world. Unity of Denver is about. So would you say that with me? We'll start it out with Unity Spiritual Center of Denver is, and then we'll go into it, okay? Unity Spiritual Center Denver is a spiritually awakened world living oneness. It holds the vision for that. A spiritually awakened world living oneness. So once we had the vision, then we went to the mission. And the mission, we asked the question, so how will we, Unity Spiritual Center of Denver, as a collective consciousness, put this vision, bring it to life? What will we uniquely do? What will we uniquely express? And what came forth was something a little different, which I loved. It's edgy. It was really living edge. And what came forth was actually 3 statements that go like this. That's how I feel them energetically. I feel them. We inspire transformation. We live consciously. We connect authentically. And each one is a power statement. I almost ought to have an exclamation point at the back of it. We inspire transformation. We live consciously. We connect authentically. Now that's a mission. That's a mission. So what does it mean? What does that mean what are you saying from a metaphysical, fourth dimensional, higher consciousness level? What are you saying that you're really about in what Mr. Fillmore called the ethers? What are you about in the ethers? We looks like a little word, but you start each sentence with it. And what it means is the collective whole. We, the collective consciousness. We, as a collective consciousness, holding an energy. We inspire. What is inspire? Using the breath of God alive in us. Inspire is not you having to go out and do it, but you let the Spirit, the inspiration of God do it through you. We inspire transformation. And what's transformation? Transformation means, trans means across, and form means material. So we inspire movement across from the material into a spiritual consciousness that knows who and what it is. So that each person that walks through this door is inspired to start the journey, to engage the spiritual journey, or to move further on the spiritual journey by virtue of having touched the consciousness held in this place. We live consciously. Live, we know, means we're living, we're aligned with Spirit, as I mentioned earlier. Consciously means aware. Again, aware of our divinity, aware of being present, of not going unconscious. I had a woman say to me yesterday, while I was doing this, whatever it was she was doing, and I won't get into that, she said, I was totally just blocking everything out. She said, I wasn't present. I wasn't present to the moment. And she said, when I got conscious again, I saw what was going on. Conscious means awareness of the present moment, and to be so in tune, aligned with the present moment, because now is all there is, that the Spirit of God, the Spirit, the universal impulse, can only move through you. It moves through you at a dynamic rate and force, and you hear everything, you see everything. Not from a schizophrenic place, but... And last, we connect authentically. We connect authentically. Again, it's that we. What are we doing? We're connecting. We link. We're in relationship. We're relatedness. We're interdependent. We have a bond. Connection has such a powerful. Connect means to be aligned in spirit. And what are we doing? We're connecting authentically. And what does authenticity mean? It means genuine. It means that we know how to trust. Because friends, when I'm genuine and I know who I am, I can trust you. But if I don't know who I am, then I'm always looking around. Am I safe? Am I safe? Is something going to hurt me? But when I'm authentic, and I'm so aligned with that field of energy, that spirit, that God within me, I can connect authentically with people and see them for who they are. Wow. Now that's a powerful mission. If you live into your vision and mission, you right here are a place that will change the world. And so it is. Would you say this mission with me together? We inspire transformation. We live consciously. We connect authentically. One more time, say it with fervor. We inspire transformation. We live consciously. We connect authentically. Breathe that in. And now you have in your handout, in your bulletin, you have a little, we do this as part of the Sunday service so that people that weren't there yesterday can give some input. We're asking you to rank the vision and mission on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're an 8 to 10, just put your number, and that's all you need. If you're below a 10, just put a little sentence of what it means to you. If you're a guest, please write guest on your paper so that we know what the input is that you're giving us. Additionally, we did core values. We asked the question, what does this community want to aspire to? And what the answer was, we want to aspire to be innovative, to be a place of connection, to be transformative, to be spirit-led, to be inspirational, to be inclusive. So those are the core values that this community is holding as aspiring values. Now, getting back to this, if you're not doing it already, please write your number as you just go into spirit. And when you're done, pass it to the ends, and we'll have the ushers come. Now remember, yesterday we did a lot of chunking and rolling. So if you don't see any changes, it might be because we already talked about what you put there. And all right. So while you do that, I'm just going to complete this process. To me, you guys are up to great things. Unity Spiritual Center of Denver is up to great things. And they are moving, and it's in consciousness that you're moving, in consciousness that the energy is inviting you into the powerful yes of yes, this is who we are. Yes, we can do this. Yes, this is where we want to go next. But we must hold that vision together. It is the vision and the mission that galvanize us. For the last 30 years, I have known the mission of my life. I am a midwife for the birthing of the soul's remembrance. And everything I do, I weigh into that because that is what moves me in this universe. And Christopher Wren, the great architect who built cathedrals to the glory of God, has a little story, and many of you may have heard it, but I like to end with this. Christopher Wren was building a cathedral, and he goes to the work site, and he sees somebody working, and he says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm laying bricks." "Oh, okay." He goes to the second person, he says, "What are you doing?" And that person says, well, I'm working to feed my family. Christopher Wren said, oh, okay. And he goes to the third person. He says, what are you doing? And that person says, I am building a cathedral to the glory of God. And Christopher Wren knew that that person had caught the vision of what was going on. So may all of you catch the vision of what is happening at Unity Spiritual Center of Denver. God bless you all.